Yeah. Cool. And Sarah, here. Okay. Hey, Jimmy, we're already on.
What's going on? Sorry.
Okay, cool. So, and then what I might do at the meantime, let me make sure. See, what everybody out there in TV on my channel, they know that Wade is the one who does all the tech stuff. Okay, so whenever I'm doing my podcast and all that stuff, people have gotten familiar with.
We're working on the lighting right now. Situation.
You haven't met him yet, so now I'm gonna tell Wade that we're live, and then he's gonna share it and stuff like that. And I don't think this lighting is terrible. I'm just not. I gotta. Yeah. What do you think? I'm gonna move here. So, because I'm leaning into you crooked and weird, and that doesn't make for good hosting. Okay.
Go back a little bit.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. It's cool. Back in the day, we would have had to go to a big studio, and now we can just sit around here. So, listen, we got some people watching, and they'll start to tell us whether or not they can hear us. Okay, so he hears us. I think this lighting's not terrible.
It's not bad at all.
But your mom's going to tell you to sit up, right?
She's okay, sit up a little bit. You tell me.
I know. Let me sit
really
back. I was just gonna say, I look gigantic here. All right, here. Look at that. That's maybe a little better, right?
That's good. Let's tell him.
Yeah.
Just in case.
All right.
We're good.
There we go. And then now I have a little halo. Okay. So listen, obviously, big deal. It's Friday. And on Sunday night, you're going to be fighting Aljamain Sterling. Yeah,
on a Sunday, which is usually unusual for a card, but we have President's Day Monday. So
right, so we get a holiday, which is a nice thing. Now, I don't know. Do you have kids?
I have a dog. That's our first step. When I'm done fighting, eventually my wife and I'll have some kids.
Oh, okay, because a long weekend, is usually a big deal if you have a kid. You have the day off and whenever you sleep in, it's a whole big thing. So now we were just talking about this before we went on, but I just came back from the dog show. What kind of dog do you have?
My wife and I have a Leonberger. She's about only 6 months old and 80 pounds.
I was just going to say, she's going to outweigh you at one point.
I don't think she will, but we actually have a boy coming.
Oh, you do?
So I think the boy will outweigh us. So right now, Harley Bear.
Yeah.
And my wife wanted to mention, bring it up Terrace, so she doesn't give me a hard time, is our Instagram name for everything we have for Harley right now. But Harley's mom's 130 and her dad's 180. So I'm figuring Harley would be 130. I feel like the females always tend to be a little smaller.
Yes.
But I think our next dog, that I won't mention his name yet, will be 150, 180.
I mean, that's a lot of dog because, like I said, coming back from the show, I saw a bull mastiff that was about 235 pounds. And it was gorgeous.
That's huge.
But here's my thing, Jimmy. And I don't want to take this to a dark place.
I'm cleaning our house right now. Okay. Every other week. We might have someone come every week.
Okay.
She's not bad. I was explaining before. She sheds a hairball.
Yeah.
So it's I'm literally picking up little hairballs here and there, and it's really not that bad until the weather changes when she gets her spring coat and then her winter coat. So that adds usually Loki is her dad. He's usually about 165, maybe 170. But when he gets his winter coat, he gets all the way up to 180. Exactly. So that's what's crazy. It's like a little training partner at home.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So we have that. We have Harley for my wife, and I think we'll have our next dog, who's going to be a male for us. Right. We're not looking to breed him at all because we see what my father-in-law does. He breeds German short-haired pointers.
Oh, nice.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
He's got 4 dogs. And that's just I come there. That's unbelievable.
So my question now is, since like I said, whenever I do the dog show, I've done it 3 years in a row. When I come home from it, I'm fresh, and I'm all I want to do is talk about dogs. Does he actually use them for sporting and hunting and stuff like that?
They're actually. There's a whole contract with them, and they have to be trained and run.
Yeah.
But they're unbelievable. Hunting dogs, birds, pheasants, etc. Right. So they're really good, really well trained. He's won numerous awards with his breeding, and he only does it maybe once, twice a year. But he always has a list that people want dogs.
Cool.
And he lives in Pennsylvania, so he's got plenty of land. Unfortunately, I'm in Jersey. In Jersey, 165, let's say, 167.
I love that I was actually born in Jersey, so I'm allowed to say it. And I lived in Succossona, New Jersey, up until when I was a little kid.
That's way down south.
Yeah, I have no idea where it is because I was I was just a kid. It was so I don't know exactly what the deal was where I lived in Jersey. I've never actually looked it up again, but I did live there at one point. And I just, having lived in New York for 7 years, I know that's always the thing. What exit?
Yeah, they're always what exit. So what exit on the Parkway? Some of you guys are not from Jersey. What exit on the Parkway?
Right. It's good. Okay, so listen, what I'm going to do now, I think I should check that everything's cool. With the all right. So someone just tweeted. Okay, so I just want to make sure we're all good. Okay, I think we're good. And so let's start talking about the real deal stuff. I love talking about dogs.
I can talk about dogs a lot.
I was just gonna say, but I feel like we should talk about your fight here with Aljo because I'm not very technical is what we're starting to figure out.
It's okay.
You guys are starting to get a look behind the curtain here. Like I said, Wade is the one who usually does all the tech stuff. Oops, when we're at home. Okay, I got it. There we go. Okay, so Aljamain Sterling is very good. You are very good, but he is ranked a little bit below you, I believe, right now. Right? You're currently at number 5.
Yeah.
So, from what I've read, if I'm believing what I've read, it's hard for you to get people to say yes.
Yeah.
Right.
People ranked above me. Everybody below me wants to fight me. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like a gatekeeper in a way.
Right.
But no one above me wants to fight me. And that's really, really where it comes down.
Yep.
And they told me, no, Sansa wants to fight me. And then long story short, Sansa fought Marlon.
Yep.
And I wish they would have just told me right away that that wasn't going to happen because then I would have fought Cody in December right before Christmas and then probably fight again February, March again, whether it was Sterling or whoever.
Right.
But long story short, Sterling was willing to take the fight. Everybody else was kind of necked on the roster. And I know Cody Garbrandt didn't want to fight me.
Yeah.
So he wanted to try to take someone that he thought he could beat.
And you think he can beat Pedro? Do you think he thinks he can beat Pedro?
Yes, I really do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Pedro's good. I actually fought Pedro in my second fight. And won in Brazil, and he's a tough guy.
Yes.
I reached out to Pedro and actually wished him good luck because I hope he wins. It makes me look good.
Because it does. It does.
You know what I mean? So I'm not going to say it all, you know, this and that. But he is a nice guy, too. I really like Pedro. He was really cool. Spoke to him a little bit after the fight and, you know, after weigh-ins and stuff when we did fight. And it's just a nice guy. So I'm hoping he does well. And I think Cody picked Pedro because he thinks he could beat Pedro. He knows that I'm going to be a tougher fight, and he doesn't think 100% he can beat me. And I think that's the way it is. So Sterling was willing to take the fight.
Yeah.
That's how we had to fight.
Okay. There's a lot to unpack here. Because your division right now, it is very interesting. Obviously, we know that TJ just went down and was unsuccessful against Henry, but 2 wins over Cody. So, yes, Cody needs a win. Cody is looking for a win. And granted, he lost to the same person, but why do you think it is that he thinks Pedro is beatable? Like, I don't know. I'm asking you to put on your analyst hat right now, but why do you think he would say yes to a fight?
Not taken away from Pedro. I mean, Pedro's a good grappler and a decent boxer, and I think Cody knows that he is Cody is a little bit better than Pedro on boxing, being an analyst. No offense, Pedro. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a dick. So I think that's why Cody is taking this fight because he's seen his other fights. I mean, one of his fights you saw clearly was Rob Font, and Rob Font was getting the best of him in boxing. Yep. And he clipped Rob Font was a good shot, and Rob kind of got a little scared, anxious, went for a shot, and Pedro finished it. It was a guillotine. Right. So going from there and understanding that aspect as an analyst and a fighter, I think that's why I think he's going to be able to he'll be able to use his boxing and beat him. But Pedro's a tough SOB, so I think he'll stand and bang with him too. So it should make a really good fight, interesting fight.
And what's interesting here is you're in an interesting position because you want to fight people above you. Some of them you have fought. You've already.
I fought one person above me, Marlon.
Right. Okay.
There's no one really wanted to take a fight.
I get it, but you understand that a record that's 22-2,
yes,
right, is daunting, right? And so you went on a tear for how many years without losing a fight? I mean, and then when you could argue that the fight to Marlon, and again, no disrespect if we're doing the no disrespect game, no disrespect to Marlon, who was able to take you out fast, but. He got the best of you in the situation, but like you didn't really get to show everything that you have, right? And so one could argue, hey, yeah, Marlon quote unquote got lucky, and that you didn't have a real fight with him, so you should have a rematch with him to see, what really would happen. I guess he's probably going to get a title shot, which he's earned. But I would have imagined you probably tried to get a rematch with Marlon along the way, too.
Obviously, it would be great to get a rematch with him. Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he's going to accept it. I think he's going to wait for the title shot. If Henry and TJ fight, and whoever wins, he's going to fight. But I'm hoping in between that, I could either, get the next shot or fight for a #1 contender spot. so this way we can go. Maybe if Cody wins, me and Cody fight for another contender fight. I mean, anything can kind of happen, so there's a lot of things in motion. It's hard to kind of look past that just right now because I do have the Sterling fight ahead of me. So I'm not trying to look past it. But if you looking a little bit in the future, that's the thing that can happen, either in my shoes or Sterling's shoes as well. So when it comes down to that, it's one of those things, and it kind of sucked, having that quick finish in the first round in June. But I bounced right back right away in the beginning of September. It was a win over John Dodson, who's a dangerous opponent. Very dangerous. Always. And I think with that, it's just a lot of, I think some mistakes and some things I did in my camp and in general mentally that I shouldn't have done when I'm training for Marlon. So now I learned from it and got back. One of the biggest things was I took too much on.
Okay, because that's amazing to me when people actually admit that they made a mistake or there was an error in judgment.
A lot of people don't want to do that. They want to blame other people. Even people ask me, "Oh, you think the ref stopped it?" I'm like, "Nah, I went limp, but I came right back, but I wasn't out completely." It caught me on the top of the head. It happens. When you look at it, Sterling and I both fought him. His knockout with Sterling was really bad, compared to he
got blasted worse than you. I think.
I mean,
head kicks up.
It's hard, you know what I mean. You don't really want to try to blast people out there. Do blast people like that, but you don't want to blast someone getting hurt.
No,
you know what I mean. It's not really. No. It's not really. It's at the end of the day, you feel bad in a way. I didn't mean if you have a heart.
Oh yeah.
But so it happened. I mean, mine wasn't as bad as Sterling, which I was happy about. I was able to bounce right back and get a fight. But I would always love to get that match back, and it'd be even better if he's the champ and a rematch like that would be awesome.
That would be very cool. And, it is interesting because both you and Aljamain, like you just said, have lost to Marlon. But when you look at Aljo's game, and I have to say, Aljo's half Jamaican. Aljo is Jamaican. I'm half Jamaican. No so he's one of the guys, when he walks out with that Jamaican flag, like he's one of the guys that I do get hyped for because it's good to me. You know what I mean? It's cool. It's cool to see it. But you guys are both New York guys. I lived in Manhattan for 7 years. It was just back in the city.
He's a little bit more. I'm a Jersey guy that grew up in Jersey, but I've been working for the past maybe 8-9 years in New York City.
Right. But you guys do see it kind of as like a turf war in a way too, right? Like
because we're two big East Coast prospects.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. And so you have some history with him. Now, what did
him before he got in the UFC and he denied me a few times. And the reason why was that he was a top prospect. I'm a top prospect. Let's fight. Let's see who gets in the UFC. It's one step closer. Right. That's why, I fought in World Series. I fought in Bellator. I fought, CFFC, Ring of Combat, King of Cage. Just always trying to fight the best person that's going to help me get into the UFC. So that didn't happen. Then I got into UFC on a 3-week notice against Marcus Brimage. After that, I was trying to push. After the Pedro fight, or the Yuri Alcantara fight, and I tried to push, and I actually got the phone call after the Yuri fight when I won that not too long down the way. He's like, listen, we have another fight. We have 4 guys you want to fight. Sterling was actually one of them. They gave me an option. Johnny Eduardo, someone else, and Uriah Faber. And I was like, all right.
I remember I was at the Uriah fight.
And I just told him right away, I was like, Faber.
Because the name, like if you can beat a name, it's huge.
It was a lose for Faber. It was a win-win for me. It's like it's Uriah Faber. If I lose, it's not so bad.
Because you lost to Faber, exactly.
And if I win, it's even better.
And you won.
So thank you. Appreciate it.
I was there. It was great. I mean,
And then it really, that's what it really came down. Sean was a little taken back because I didn't have to take a second to think about Uriah Faber.
Of course.
Even my coach.
And he probably thought you were biting off more than you could chew.
Probably, And with me, I was like, nah, I know I could take him, and it'd just be a great fight. And this is some way to get my name even bigger off of someone that started the 135 weight class, a pioneer and a legend. So I was like, this would be great. So that's how kind of once the Faber fight happened, I didn't have to try to talk shit on Twitter or say anything about the Aljamain Sterling fight. It kind of worked reverse. It's kind of like I surpassed him, and now it's like, all right, this is more beneficial for him as a fight. And for me, I always look at it as another fight. I don't take it lightly, but it's another fight, and I got to go in there and win. Since
you're fighting somebody behind you, quote unquote, behind you in the rankings and all
so it's even more dangerous, but
you have more to lose in theory.
And that's why I train even harder for something like that, because I have a lot more to lose than he has. He has so much to gain.
So you bring up a lot of good points, though, Jimmy, because, a lot of times now title shots are determined by sort of popular demand and who the fans want. And we see a lot of people, some with some success and some without, really trying to talk their way into it. And I feel like, I don't want to say you've done yourself a disservice by being so polite and just keeping your head down and fighting, but you might have done yourself a disservice by just being a good dude who's just fighting and
It's hard.
It's hard because you want to be authentic, right?
I try to be squeaky. Like, I was being squeaky after the Dotson fight, trying to get a fight. Yeah. And then just nothing would bite. And literally every single day we were talking to Sean, myself, and my manager. And she's like, yeah, they're hurt. Yeah. And it's like, you can be as squeaky as you want, but you can't force anybody to fight you. They're not going to, everybody's going to take the fight. And there's not much I can do. Sansa's not taking the fight. You got, Marlon's not taking the fight. Cody's not taking it. At a certain point, he has a rough path. I mean, obviously you don't want him to be hurt. Like, you don't want him to be hurt. But it's like, if they said to me, like, if I did well and they were like, oh, we want you to fight Dominick Cruz, I would say no.
Because you wouldn't think it would happen.
He wouldn't make it.
It sucks so bad too, because obviously I love Dom. I work with him a lot, and he's a great guy and obviously an incredibly talented fighter. It's a bummer, because I was really looking forward to seeing him fight Lineker, and he is still ranked 3rd. But I understand what you're saying with the ability for him to actually make it to fight day. Unfortunately, it is tough. But if you were to able to even, I don't know, on the books, that's a great fight though, right? And that's a marquee name, and that's a former champion. Yeah. I
was already scheduled to fight him 2 years ago, and he got hurt. And I was scheduled to fight Lineker. He got hurt on Christmas Eve. Yeah. I mean, those things, like same thing happened with Brian Caraway. It's like 2018 thought would be a better year, but it wasn't. I had 3 guys I had to pull out because of injuries. Right. Well, I think 2 guys obviously really got hurt, which is Lineker and Dom. But Caraway just faked it out.
So here's the thing, but that's what I'm asking you though, because with a record like you have, I understand why people don't want to fight you. Let's see. How do we move you forward? It's really the question, right? Like, how do we?
Honestly, the way to move forward, I think, when we sit down and talk about it all the time, it's like, obviously, don't look past Sterling. Got to get the win. But if I get the win, I think, I don't think Marlon's going to take the fight, but I think Sansa will take the fight, and that would be a good fight.
And you don't mind, even though we just lost, you don't mind fighting somebody. They like to do win-win.
Well, that'll move me up. But I can't say it just yet, because if Cody wins, then that's the fight to make. If Cody wins, Cody and I. If Cody doesn't win and he loses, well, now, either fight is kind of a way of a good fight in a way.
Right.
But I don't know if they're going to actually give me Cody. I think I have a better chance with a Sansa of a fight. I think Cody's going to be like trying to look for
a title shot. Right. I mean, Cody's a superstar.
So a little bit back. So, or even looking for something even a little bit back, because that's going to drop him too. If you really think about the rankings and Pedro coming up from 9 and beating the #1 ranked guy. So that should be interesting to see what happened with that. I think, they're really banking on Cody, and people are banking on Cody to win. So it should be interesting to see what's going to happen 2 weeks from now. Yeah, about 2 weeks from now.
And with Aljo, we talk about we already touched on his grappling, and we know the last time he got the Sulev stretch and everything. So how do you think the best way is to beat him?
Listen, he's not a stand-up fighter. He's more of a wrestler grappler, so you take someone out of their element. But I think one of the things that I bring to the table is that even though I could, beat him in stand-up, but I think I could beat him in wrestling.
Do you want to try to beat him where he's better, just to
my coach says sometimes, I'm just going to go out there and fight and see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's it. I just let it be. I just see what happens. I come back to my corner. They tell me to do something. I just do it.
So here's the thing, Jimmie. I have been covering combat sports since 2000, and you need to be more vocal, because
I don't know why we haven't.
I know, and part of it is my own fault.
I don't know if I'm the favorite for not you, but certain people.
But we got a hot mic, and this is what I'm saying though, because guys like Cody, guys like Dominic, guys like TJ, they have an ability to find a microphone and an opportunity to find a microphone more often than you do, right? So how in this day and age, that's part of it, right? So do you feel the burden of having to play that part of the game as much as because I would imagine part of you just is like, dude, I'm a fighter. Like, can I just go to the gym and train and not worry about that part of it? Like when you process all the other BS that you have to do to try to get your goals,
it turns into more WWE. Yes, UFC.
That's what I'm saying.
It all depends too, because you look like Cody, for example. He had a lot of finishes. Yes, and my record compares doesn't have that many finishes, but he's also fought some people that are I think they're good, but he
more finishable.
Yes, in a way, more finishable in a way, maybe.
You both fought Almeida. Those were both good fights.
Yeah, he finished Almeida. Unfortunately, I didn't. Almeida was
he's a tough dude.
But then he fought Brimage and took 3 rounds to knock out Brimage. I took 90 seconds to knock out Brimage. Yeah. So I mean, it was more like he was ahead of me already, so it was kind of hard to catch up too. So it's like one of those things like it's hard. And
I guess my point is for you, you should be more vocal about what you've achieved.
I'll be vocal, but I'm not going to be a dick about it. So I'm just going to call out whoever and just keep pressing it. I was having Trash Talk Tuesday for a little while. It was Cody Garber.
Trash Talk Tuesday.
I was doing that. And then once I signed the Sterling fight, and I kept saying, and I was like, all right, there's no reason to trash talk.
How do you and Aljo get on, though? Because like you said, you guys have some history. Like I said, I already told you, I really like the guy.
He said he thought there was going to be more trash talk in this fight. I said nothing. I didn't even say anything. I just said, he's a wrestler grapple. That's what he does. I've never said anything that I didn't think it was true.
Right.
90%, 90% of people thought it was true. So I just think, he's a wrestler grappler. Can I beat him stand up? Yeah. Is he going to try to take me down? I think he's going to try to take me down.
Okay, but here's the thing. But I mean, I'm glad you're authentic. I'm glad you're authentic. I'm not trying to tell you to pretend to be somebody else.
Because I think sometimes changing who you are just really takes away from who you are.
It does.
And at the end of the day, that's the most important thing is I have school.
I was just about to say that because at the end of the day.
And I'm an instructor. And I have to be professional. So I won't be a dick and talk trash, but I'll be honest and blunt about my opinion. I'm not afraid to say what's on my chest. My wife always says to me, and I always say to her actually too, I'll ask for forgiveness before I ask for permission.
Absolutely.
I went out to the dealership. She's like, I thought you were just looking. I'm like, nah, I brought the car home too. Yeah.
Boy, in the same way, right? Like he has a school, he teaches people, he's respectful of his opponents. When he needs to speak the truth, he speaks the truth. You guys both go out and just kind of do your job and don't worry so much about the BS. But both of you are incredibly talented and I think are putting forth a great example for your students. And I'm sure that does resonate. Like that is important to you.
It makes a huge deal, especially after the Marlon loss. I got right back on the horse and came back with a huge win over Dotson. And I just, like I explained to the kids, we talk about not quitting spirit, not giving up.
Right.
And that shows it right there. It shows to the adults that, you get knocked down. It's not what you do when you get knocked down, it's what you do afterwards that makes you who you are. Yeah. Yeah. And Stephen was, he was like driving the bus back to picking the kids up for class, the next day after his losses and stuff. He kind of shakes it off. For you though, I know that this is an important fight. You're on ESPN, Plus, right? No.
Okay.
On the main.
But that people have asked why you're not higher up on this card. And I don't know how you feel about it, and I'm not trying to get you pissed, but
well, they don't realize sometimes. So we're not on ESPN Plus. We should have been the co-main event, but Felder had a little more pull.
Paul's great too, though, and that fight's been building for a while.
And they know, and he commentates a lot, so I understand. That's like Cruz. Cruz has a lot of publicity because he's been around for a while. And he commentates as well. Right. So being on prelims and being the main event of the prelims is a great spot too. It's not a bad spot. When you look at it as a, marketing and advertisement, it's great because right away you're going to have something big on ESPN and it's going to tune right into the prelims. Right. And the numbers already show for itself. So it's going to tune into the prelims and then the people are going to watch the prelims. Right. And then the main card's on it too. So the whole card itself from the prelims all the way to the main card is going to get a lot of coverage because it's going right there. The prelims, I feel like the prelims with the Dillashaw fight got a lot more coverage than the ESPN Plus. Right. I think
it did well because that Cowboy fight was sick too.
But that was the biggest, and that was a prelim main event. Right. And the Cowboy Samoan's been around for a while. No, he should be co-main event, right? He should be in the co-main event.
But you can understand why they put him as a draw.
Yes, exactly. So I think it's the same thing too here. But at the end of it, I don't care. I think if you're any fighter and you're on the ESPN prelim card and main card, you're in great shoes because you're going to be watched by a lot of people.
For sure. Now that
free TV is the best TV.
Always. Before we get out of here, I have to ask you though. You bring up Cowboy here. Who do you watch? Are you a fight fan? It's kind of weird, right? Because a lot of time fighters don't necessarily want to say they admire somebody or they are a fan of somebody.
I love watching the fights. I don't watch it all the time. But I watch it a good majority of the time. If there's depends on how many cards a month too, because it gets drastic too. And it's a little rough right now because we're still waiting for the ESPN Plus. I'm waiting until I sign it.
Like everybody did with the Zone. I'm sorry. That was hard. It was tricky too.
Yeah. I mean, I tried logging in with my friends. I couldn't log in with ESPN Plus. I was having a little hard time with the app. Maybe it's just like you and I, a little computer. I'm not savvy. I have to ask people for posting stuff on Instagram too. I did watch. I am a fan of Cerrone. I think him having a kid put a lot of things in perspective.
Yeah.
Now he's working even harder, and I hope he gets a counter fight. That'd be an awesome fight.
I would so love to watch that.
Or
fight.
just someone in the top 5, their top 4.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of like him. I'm a fan of Cain Velasquez coming back.
I was just about to ask you who you like in the main event.
I am excited about that. Who do I like? They're both really cool guys. What's going to happen? I think if you look at an analyst, view, Francis got to finish him in the first or second round. I don't think Francis is going to be able to go the distance if he doesn't work that cardio, which I don't think you've really seen in his past couple fights.
Right.
Only the Stipe fight, how long he went, and Cain Velasquez has cardio. Mm-hmm. He can go. He can wrestle. The only setback he has, he's been out for 2 years. Right. So you want to see if he's rusty or if he's going to be able to handle that 2-year layoff.
Right. I love it, though, that you're a fight fan, because sometimes guys are like, I do my thing, but I don't watch others.
I watch. Yeah. Sometimes I don't watch every fight, but I watch. And sometimes there's some fights that don't appeal for me. Like when I went and watched the card in Brooklyn, I think the best part of the card was the prelims. Yeah. The ESPN Plus was good. It was interesting. It was cool to see. But I think that prelim card, like, wow, like, it was good, and the fights and how it went. And for a casual fan, it really sold. The ESPN Plus, if you're an MMA enthusiast like we are, we liked it. If you're a casual fan, you didn't like it as much.
So for the casuals, and I don't mean that as a diss, or for new people, right? Because the good thing about being on ESPN is there's new people. So if they'd never seen Jimmie Rivera fight, this is like a double question here, which sometimes you're not supposed to do, but which fights of yours should they watch to understand who you are as a fighter? Like, we'll start with there. What fights are like definitive Jimmie Rivera fights?
I think the best fights were the Marcus Rimmers fight and the Pedro Munoz fight, my first 2 fights. And I'll tell you why. It was simple. Like, they both stayed in the pocket and wanted to bang. You had, next was after that Yuri Alcantara, who was more like in and out, a little bit stay in the pocket, but not as much. But then you had, after that, Faber, who I would hit him, and then it was hard getting his distance because he was always moving back. Same thing was Dotson. The Thomas Almeida fight would be a good fight to watch because he was more willing to stay in there and go. Dotson fight wouldn't have been the best because he was, moving the whole time. He moves a lot. And what people understand, like, it becomes a more technical fight if the person's moving around than standing right in front and willing to throw. Yeah. So the casual fan doesn't understand that. And when eventually they line the line, they understand after watching it years upon years and seeing more fights, they'd be like, yeah, this is going to be not the best fight. He doesn't like to stay. He moves a lot.
Right. So you saw one the other guy's chasing him the whole time.
Exactly. So when you got someone that wants to stay in front of you, it makes a good fight. Like Marcus, Pedro Munoz fight was an unbelievable fight. They literally beat the shit out of each other for 15 minutes. It was a great fight, but he stayed in the pocket. Right. And that's why, like, I'm hoping he gets a win over, Cody too. Yeah. But
that's why I love John Lineker, because he's like, F it. I'm standing right in front of you.
And that's why it made a good fight when they had John Lineker. I was like, Cruz would have been a tricky fight.
Well, it would have been interesting, but like
a tricky fight. But I was able to break it down and be able to came with a couple games. Well, I only need like 2 game plans to really work with Cruz. Yeah. Nothing against him.
I know what you're saying.
But then when they gave me Lineker, and I was like, this is a great fight. He stays in the pocket.
He stays there.
He stays in the pocket.
Hands in his hips, and he's just like, I'm talking robot.
Tough SOB, so that would have been a good fight.
Yeah.
So from there, it's like, it all depends. So let's go with the Brimage, the Pedro Munoz, and the Almeida fight.
All right, cool. And then if I were to describe you as a fighter, how do you like to be described? Like, if well-rounded. It's funny that you prefer that because a lot of people think that's a diss. A lot of people think if we say, oh, he's well-rounded, that actually means she's not really very good at anything. Like that honestly, that's interesting that you prefer that because
I put it to her as this.
I think of it as a compliment, but I feel like people take it as a diss.
I put it to her as like this, like well-rounded. Look at the Uriah Faber fight. Uriah Faber is an unbelievable wrestler. Did he take me down once? No. You know what I mean? Right. You look at a lot of the fights he had. Almeida was a great Muay Thai fight. Even Marlon was a Marlon fight. I made the simple mistake. My simple mistake was I thought it was a body kick. And
he went to the head.
So everybody watched this fight and they're like that 3 seconds, boom. Right. Me, it's like 10, 15 seconds. I'm like, fuck, it's going to the head. It's going to the head. Right. I hope my hand is high enough right now. No. And this crisp. Gotcha. It's like that. Like I've been with great kickboxers. I've been with great wrestlers. I haven't had much experience on the ground because a lot of the guys, I was able to stay on the feet and beat them. you know, with the Dotson fight, like my last fight, it wasn't something like taking him down was an option because his movement was so much. It was like more, let me get him.
Yeah.
So I tag him up, and then he would run. And there was a couple times where I tried to chase him a little bit, get clipped. I'm like, all right, this is why you know I can't chase him.
Right.
Keep trying to close it, cut him off, clip him a little bit. If he moves out, try to make a little angle. If I can't, if he's far away, just leave it.
Okay, that makes sense. Your favorite 2 weapons in your arsenal?
In my arsenal, I think I want to say my boxing.
Yeah.
And I mean my kicking.
Right, but is there
my
like
wrestling.
a favorite punch? Do you have like a sneaky shovel punch or like something? All of them.
I like the cross. I say let's go cross up right now. Let's go cross up.
And what's your favorite thing to teach the kids?
We've been doing. I've been doing it for a long time now, but we do the Showtime kick.
Oh,
so
nice.
I have a whole bunch of standing bags. They jump off the standing bag on the wall. With an X-ray paper or a paddle, and they kick it. They have a blast doing. Like it's so much fun. So they have a blast doing. We do that. I have a couple games that I grew up playing, like in wrestling, Snake. Yeah. So a couple little things, but I guess Snake and the Showtime kick. If you want to get into the grappling and kickboxing, I'm going to teach the kids. Those are probably the 2 main.
Awesome. Well, listen, Jimmie, it's been fun talking to you. And for folks, you teach in Manhattan, right?
Yes, right on East 23rd Street, 34 East 23rd Street. You come by, take a free class on me. Just let them know you. All right, on the Karyn
I love it.
Show.
Hey.
That's it. I watched it. I listened to it. You know what I mean? And you come in and take a free class or just come in and say hi or take a picture.
Good stuff. Well, listen, I'm glad that we got to talk a little bit. And, like, I'm surprised. It's weird. I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner.
You know what? I'm going to have to talk to my management about that.
Yeah, well, I think it means I'm not there in time for media day and like this and that, or I'm doing a whole other thing, but it's not for not wanting to. And like in New York, you know, sometimes we get guys that come up to the desk and it's not my choice.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
I got you. No problem. I know how it feels. The big bosses. I got you.
No but awesome. Listen, you and Aljo, I know, are going to put on a great fight. The bantamweight division is exciting, and you know, it looks like you guys might be the lightest class in the UFC. So you guys. I mean,
you know what? With the lightest class, there's always a lot going on with that class, and it's exciting, like you said.
It is exciting.
You don't know what's going to happen. There's so many pieces when something happens. Like, wow, I like what's next.
Do you guys worry? Like, do you stress that what happens to the fights is going to?
I don't stress. I love fighting. It's my second passion. My first is teaching. So that's a primary, you know, teaching at my school in the city. That's my primary thing. So whatever happens, happens. So, you know, I like to stay busy and be patient in the octagon, and fight. But if I don't, you know what I mean, I'm not going to dwell over it because I do have my bread and butter is my school and what I love to do too as well. My number one love is teaching.
Nice. So. Well, I do say to people, and I hope if you've ever heard me say it, you understood that it was a compliment. But when I talk about the bantams, I say it's like watching cats in a bag. And I mean that in that the activity level is so high that the end of round 5, the pace is the same as the beginning of round 1, which I find so fantastic. And the level of technique, you know, I understand why America's been indoctrinated with the heavyweights, and I get it, right? But for me, you know, to be able to watch the lighter weight classes and see the technique, to see the finesse, to see the pace, it's very exciting. It's very exciting. So I hope that you know that when we're trying to sell your fight, the passion is there on our end, because I think you guys are great, and I just want to say thanks.
I appreciate it. No, thank you.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thanks you guys for joining on the pre-show. You know that we're going to be doing tomorrow is going to be on ESPN Plus. This, of course, will live here on my archive on my YouTube channel. So, Jimmie, thanks so much, and good luck with your big ass dolls.
Guys, don't forget to check it out. I know.
See you later. Bye.